Hey, what's up guys, it's me TV, and I don't know at this point what is more exciting. Is it the latest Chainsawman episode that airs every week, or is it the latest chapter? The latest episode was episode 3 of Chainsawman, and it was amazing. It was great. But as a manga reader, I think not just for me but for all of us, the latest Chainsawman chapter did intrigue us with a lot of its content. The plot progression and the craziness of the latest chapter, I think, outweighs the latest episode. The episode was good. It was Chainsawman versus the Bad Devil. It was great. Soundtrack was good. The animation was... no matter how many compliments I give it, it's always less. But you get my point. As a manga reader, I think we are all especially intrigued by the latest chapter, because it was someone that we never expected to make it to the scene so quick. It is another Horseman of Apocalypse. Now, I made a lot of Horsemen of Apocalypse videos saying how Makima is one of the 4 horsemen. I did that a year back or something. I got a lot of positive feedback from it, and I predicted in that we're gonna see something like, Makima in part 2. Like we're gonna see just one Horseman of Apocalypse in the part 2, and maybe at the end of part 2 we're gonna get another one. But I did not expect in my wildest dreams for that to happen so quick. We are just 10 chapters in or something in part 2 of Chainsawman, and we have what seems like another Horseman of Apocalypse, including Makima and Yoru, which is the War Devil. This makes it the third 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. Now, by the name title itself, 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse, you know that there are only 4 of them. And let's recall everything we know about the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. There are 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. Number 1, the Horseman of Conquest, which can also be called the Horseman of Control or Dominance, which is Makima. Then we have the Horseman of War, which is Yoru, introduced in the first chapter of part 2 of Chainsawman. Then we have the Horseman of Famine, which can also be translated to hunger. Then we have the Horseman of Death, which by the name itself, I looked up the definition of death, and it's the end or permanent end to a lifespan of a being. It could also be considered as the disappearance of existence. That is considered as death. So death is the ultimate fear for every living being. So I feel like the Death Devil is, if not the strongest devil out there, and I'm pretty sure everyone feels the same way as I do. There might be the devil of God, the devil of this, the devil of that, but the devil of death is the ultimate fear. Everyone is scared of it, one way or the other. We have the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse. We have met 2 of them already. We have Nayuda as the Conquest Horseman. We have Yoru as the War Devil. Now we find this new attractive Horseman of Apocalypse. First of all, I love the way how Fujimoto, constructs his horsemen in the Chainsawman world. He always makes sure that the horseman is a female. Which, don't get me wrong, I love the fact that he does that. But it got me thinking, why would we call it 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse if Fujimoto is just going to, make them all female? So I looked up the concept of female horsemen, and there exists. I don't know if it's in fiction or some real mythology, but the other phrase for the 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse is the 4 Sisters of Apocalypse. They literally, instead of it being men, it's 4 sisters of Apocalypse: Conquest, War, Famine, and Death. Now that matches Chainsawman much more than the 4 Horsemen, because not just, the reason being that they are females here in Chainsawman, but the way the new Horseman calls the War Devil, I suppose, her sister. So the title, The 4 Sisters of Apocalypse, fits much better here. Now, looking at the latest Horseman in the market, the Horseman that we don't know anything about except the last few pages there were in the latest chapter, which made it so intriguing. There's a lot of debate going on online about whether it being the Horseman of Death or the Horseman of Hunger. Now, there are facts supporting both statements. I don't know what my ultimate guess is going to be at the end of this video, but I'm going to present facts and the already known evidence of it possibly being a particular horseman. Let's start from the beginning. We don't know the name of the horseman, so I'm just gonna call it the Death Devil. Now, the Death Devil calls Yoru, not Asa. I'm gonna keep that in mind. It's not Asa. Unless I'm wrong, she's calling Yoru her younger sister. Now, let's go in an order, okay? How do we know if a devil is elder or younger than the other devil? Number one, the fear, how it started. Did it start before the other thing or, way after the other thing? That's how we know if a devil is older than the other devil. Like, when did people start fearing it? Did they start fearing it before the other thing? Or, something like that. You get my point. So let's start off, back when the first humans ever existed. What were they scared of? Were they scared of death? Or were they scared of hunger, war, or conquest? Well, now let's just assume humans existed at first. They might have not known what death is. They obviously did not know what control, dominance, or conquest was, because relative to that, it is a very modern term. Then they don't know war because they hardly had anyone to fight off back then. I think they just started living. It's just the first humans ever. So I doubt that they were scared of war. Now, were they scared of hunger or death first? Like, I would like to assume that they did not know what death was at the beginning. They never experienced it. But you know what they actually experienced before death? That was hunger. People didn't have food, so they could have died from hunger. And they did not know that they could die, but they knew they were scared of starving to death. So it's a conflict in and on itself. So we could say that the death devil is the oldest, or we could believe that the hunger devil is the oldest, but this brings no point forward, so let's move on. Now let's look at her character design. She seems to be wearing some sort of earrings that seem similar to the cord of Chainsawman. Could that be just because she's a fan of Chainsawman? Well, probably. Now those earrings also seem kind of familiar of the scales that the famine devil carries, the famine horseman actually. It could be the famine devil in disguise, or the reason why people think it's the death devil is because the way she was introduced. Now, Yuko was on her deathbed, but she's the devil, so she cannot just die. So at this point, I'm pretty sure Yuko was on her dying breath. And then comes in this new horseman saying that she could save her. And of course, Asa was like, if you can, just save her. The horseman proceeds to save Yuko. Now, the debate here is that you can revive any devil by giving them some blood. So it definitely is just any devil doing anything. It's not specifically the death devil. But if it was that simple, why couldn't Asa just give her blood? Or Yoru could save her instead. I doubt that Yoru would want to save her, but she could have just said so. Why would it have to be specifically this horseman saving her? Maybe she was the only one that had this knowledge, or maybe because she is the death devil. I think the explanation here of her being the death devil is much more simple, but I'm not going to be surprised if it's famine devil. But why did this horseman call Yoru her younger sister? Well, as going back to the point where which devil existed first, we can say that, the death devil and the hunger devil came in before war devil and conquest devil. So chronologically, they are much older than the horsemen of war and the horsemen of conquest. So that makes them the older sibling. And as the name states, the four sisters of Apocalypse, The four sisters of Apocalypse, the eldest being the sister of death, the youngest being the sister of conquest, which we were introduced to, which is Makima. Then the middle one being the hunger and war, obviously. We should also focus on the fact that there is a sequence to how Fujimoto likes to introduce the horsemen, of what it seems like at least. First we got the younger sister, the horseman of conquest. Then we got the a bit elder sister, the horseman of war. Then we should probably get the elder sister of hunger, not the direct elder sister which is death. Chronologically, that would make sense if it was hunger. But there's always a point that hunger came before death for some people. So it could also be that the hunger devil is chronologically elder to the death devil. So no matter how much we dive into it, we might never truly know which devil it is. But we definitely know it's a horseman of Apocalypse. Why? Look at her eyes. She is an horseman of Apocalypse. So other than that, it's an interesting debate, and I would like to side with it being the devil of death, because Fujimoto likes to give hints, but I don't think he is a picky person like that. He wouldn't just give away a famine horseman by the earrings alone, or would he? Well, I think it being Death Devil suits more because of the way she was introduced. Like, if Fujimoto wanted to introduce the Famine Devil, he would have done that in a famine way, like in a hunger way, not in a dying way, because it suits more to the Death Devil. But then again, people also are like, it's the Death Devil. Like, it has to be greater than the Darkness Devil introduction, at least. Well, true, but Chainsawman literally took away the powers of the Horseman, if you remember. That's why Yoru is weak. Now, the Death Devil must be very fascinated by Chainsawman because it creates the fear of death within devils. And the fear of death is the same for all. So the Death Devil is either stronger or weaker, we don't know. How it works, God knows. God doesn't exist apparently in Chainsawman's world, so we truly never know. But yeah, it's an interesting debate for an interesting chapter. The next chapter, I think we might get a clearance of who it is, because we might see the reaction of Yoru. If she's conscious, we might see the reaction of her. That's it for this video. I have nothing much more to say. It's just an interesting conflict of opinion. The debate is great. It gives something for the manga readers to talk about within the anime hazard that's going on right now. So yeah, thanks a lot Fujimoto, and thanks a lot to you guys for watching this video. Might see you in the next video. Just let me know if you guys want to see more videos, because I'll be happy to make them. I don't usually make more videos, but yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.